There is this kind of sense of overpopulation that the sense of country may not exist in the way that we know it right now. I think of these vertical farms that I've seen pictures and information of, kind of like these conceptual landscapes of how we will live in the future when it comes to feeding ourselves, clothing ourselves. And it seems like we're more aware of space and how to conserve space and how to conserve energy, as opposed to spreading out, doing whatever you can do on the land. We're kind of really thinking about how we can manage overpopulation that we're going toward. And so I do think cities will be more important than country, but I think because we always need a balance, our need to have our own private time and private space and a place where we can get away will become a much more valuable commodity. You want a place to live where you can kind of commune with other people and feel like you have some sort of extended family. When it comes to the future of cities, I think it's really about migrating to places where people have certain likes and interests that are in common. The architecture and what's around comes second, and usually it's the people and what's happening and the events that come first. When it comes to Foursquare or location apps and that kind of thing. A lot of companies are doing that now, where they've gone beyond just giving out badges and now they're giving out incentives to actually go into a store and you get discounts or you get freebies, or when you become mayor of a place, it actually means something more than just a name. Whether you become an ambassador for something, and then if you filter out that information to your circle, it means that you get some sort of reward from the actual company. When it comes to physical things that you can actually feel and bring into your life, I think that's what we'll see more of. I like the idea of integrating play in whatever we do. Even people online, you're kind of in this field that it's very new, and so for many people, they still have to supplement their income with other things. Needing to do what you need to do, but then also not having enough time to just daydream, not having enough time to just play or, do nothing, take a walk. And so incorporating that Zen-like state maybe into moments within your work life, I think is going to be essential. I think for some people it's more natural because some people perhaps are doing the things that they love to do, but that's not true for many people. So I think for employers, it's going to be important to make sure that their employees stay happy and incorporating the sense of play into their everyday activity so that they feel good and it just spurs people to work more. For people that work in the online space, you start absorbing a lot of the web culture that is just around you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you do start using it in your daily language. And when families start questioning what you're talking about, you start realizing, wow, I'm really a little bit out of touch, or there's a kind of gap here when it comes to kind of having conversations with my mother. A lot of what's happening online for me, it's the sense of information overload, social media fatigue, knowing that there's so much information there that is available to you and wanting to know all of it, feeling like there's not enough time or not enough energy or not enough brain power. I find myself awake at night, 3, 4 in the morning, researching things just not even based on things that I'm working on. It's just based on things that I'm really interested in. Going through websites, and all of a sudden, through breadcrumbs, I find myself, hours later, learning about something that I would have never have imagined. So I feel like it definitely does affect your physical life. There feels like there's a sense of almost living my life in this meta life, this other layer of life that's kind of happening all the time. Life extends beyond your present state. I'm personally trying to manage and participate in as much as I can because that's really what I'm interested in, but knowing that there are limitations to that. It took my parents years to figure out what I did online. Now, because of mass media, surprisingly enough, because, YouTube is a household name, and because you have more mentions of it in the local nightly news, or, they hear it more often, they understand it. And so that sense of repetition in their lives, they get the general sense of what online means, what people are doing, what YouTube is. Mass media does still help my parents anyway to understand what's happening, this new world that we're kind of living in. The amazing thing about where we work is because it is so open, because you can come in at any point and participate. There is a double-edged sword for the people that are coming in new to it. It's a little bit overwhelming, and that's something that I hear all the time. They're just like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to look for. I don't know. I'm completely overwhelmed when I get online. I don't even know how to start a blog. And for me, it's like, well, you just Google it. You just, look it up. You ask somebody. People online are completely helpful. You start losing grasp of what someone who uses the web more casually, how they kind of come into it and how they can participate as well. When I first started, we all had kind of our aliases, and so I went by Karma Girl, or I went by a couple of really embarrassing other names that were more kind of personal. But then as you start looking at the online world as more of a place where you can share what you're working on and you start building your reputation, I think it's wise to really make sure that it's attached to your person and it's attached to your name, at least for me. I don't think, though, that should be the only way to do it. I think that people should have the choice to work under anonymous identity or, work as a Banksy or work as a whatever they want to and experiment and not be afraid that they'll be ridiculed or that it'll have a negative effect. And so I'm not against multiple identities. It really depends on the person. It depends on what they want to do. I think it's actually healthy to be able to express yourself within different identities if you want to. A lot of people don't have that opportunity, and I think that's why a lot of people do feel a sense of relief when they are able to communicate safely with other people that are like them online. And so as long as you're not breaking any laws, it's okay. And I think it's healthy almost to be able to express a side of yourself that you wouldn't normally get to express. I believe we are definitely in a new era of identity. I have multiple blogs that I keep. Some are private and they have to do with very different things. If I would make one blog public, people wouldn't even know that it's actually coming from me. So I think it's an outlet and it definitely is a release. And I think it's something that should be encouraged.